Welcome to LifeGen, an in-depth mod to a story simulator based around the concept of warrior cats. You won't need to be an avid reader of the books in order to understand what's happening in this video here. At its barest bones, we're going to be following the lives of sapient cats as they try to function within their own society. We're going to follow the lives of a new and small clan going out into the world. Everything in this game is randomly generated and doesn't always have perfect cohesion. So here and there, whenever things need some clarification, I'm going to be adding in story segments. I might alter some things that happen and rename certain things like foxes to coyotes because it makes more sense. And then I'll knit everything together and transform it into an understandable story narrative. Ultimately, I'm going to want to view it through the eyes of one character, but we'll also be watching all of WildClan. So first I need to pick our main protagonist. There's a lot of good options here, two rare ones actually. There are two cats with birth defects, specifically missing body parts. This is extremely rare at the beginning of a game. So of course I had to go with the one that was missing a leg. The story is too good to pass up. A wild cat with only 3 legs trying to survive out in the wild. Struggle definitely makes a story. She's patient and oddly insightful, which means she's going to be pretty smart. So I chose her and decided to go with the name 3Kit for obvious reasons. The suffix kit is a status symbol that will show her place in the clan. She'll keep this suffix until she hits 6 months of age, also called moons. And then her suffix will become paw to signify she's become an apprentice. Now, we're going into a place that has clans already in it, so our story is going to begin with WildClan having to choose the worst of the current territories because that's all that's left for them. Don't worry about this, I'm sure it's fine. I'm going to start in fall because it's my favorite season, and have a quick little preview of what each other season looks like in this area, and then we get to pick our clan symbol. Obviously, there's a whole lot of different options, but I think I'm going to go with this one. And with that, our game is ready to begin. And there they are, finally at their wasteland home. Our protagonist isn't here yet, simply because she hasn't been born yet. I have to question the decision to put the nursery this close to these barrels, let alone the leader's den. That one cat is just staring right into it. Oh well, maybe it's just really nasty water or something. Now let's look at our clanmates. This is Nimblestar, our leader. And yes, the suffix star basically just means leader. He is an aloof cat that seems to have gotten a message to make a clan in order to maintain balance to the territories. He's spoken to the dead at least twice, and in the second time he earned his 9 lives. 3Kit will probably never hear this story from him. Next we see the second in command, or the deputy. I think I'm going to rename this one. Oh no, she's shameless. I feel like this one might be a little bit of a troublemaker. But she radiates elegance. So she's shameless, but stylish about it, and never gets lost. I don't want to go too far off from her original name, so I think I'm going to name her Grey Gaze. There we go, that won't be hard to say fast at all. Next we'll have our medicine cat, which does not have a special status suffix. She's old and confident and probably isn't going to keep us all safe. She also likes to collect little knickknacks, very elderly of you. I do it too. I'm going to rename her Shy Spots because it sounds better. I forgot to check Grey's history, so I'm just going to look back here. Oh no. Yeah, she is definitely going to cause problems. And Shy Spots too! Are they planning something? Okay, so that definitely means there's some story leading up to this group, which means it's time to start knitting pieces together. As it turns out, there's a third rogue in our group, a keen-eyed tortoiseshell warrior female. It seems she was recruited probably by the other 2 rogues, which clearly have some sort of plan for WildClan. Now it's important to note that rogues are not the same thing as loners. They tend to be more chaotic, have less social cohesion between each other, and much less cooperation. It's basically the chaos to our order. They look out for themselves because they can't really rely on other cats. But they're also at least a little bit more organized than pure anarchy, which means they band together for safety and because they want something. And if they're sending spies into WildClan, it means they might want something from us. So it's not too much of a stretch to imagine that the rogue leader out there sent some of his brightest out here to take high ranks in WildClan. Admittedly, the territory is not the best, but maybe they're struggling too, and maybe they're watching other cats to see what they're able to find and what they're able to bring home and survive with, so that they can reap the rewards. This unknown dark figure may one day send out a raid against WildClan. Anyway, on to the rest of the cats in our clan. Okay, this cat Egg Ears is a founding member, but we can't go with that name. A grumpy warrior who is also a great tracker. I'm going to go with the name Sharp Ears. I think that works. Next we have Moonlake, which I really like that name, so I think I'll keep it. It appears she left one of the older clans, Flame Clan, due to religious differences. That's interesting. That means we have another story segment here. It turns out she's a strong believer of Star Clan, which is the good ending, so to speak. Which makes you wonder about Flame Clan, of course. Maybe they're Dark Forest. It turns out there's another Flame Clanner in our group who followed Moonlake in. I really like the design of this one. I'm not sure why. Something about the tail and everything, and the back marking, it's lovely. However, it appears as though Crowstreak is insecure, but also a problem solver. It's possible that she's actually the one who started the move, and convinced her friend to join her. With Moonlake being oblivious, it's easy to imagine that she didn't even see any problems at her home. So when Crowstreak mentioned they were uncomfortable and wanted to maybe go somewhere else, she took the lead, and the others just followed. Next on the list is Goldfall. It's actually not that bad of a name, and I think she was named because of her eye color, but I'm going to give her a different name and call her Snowfall instead, because she looks like a winter's day. I notice I'm getting a lot of females in this clan to start with. It's not a bad thing, I'm just curious about it. Snowfall is also insecure, but she's a great guard and likes little trinkets. How cute. Next we have a cat named Splinter Tree, and I really like that name. This one is a witty, well-versed male who actually has started off with an apprentice. It looks like he left his home as well, but from Soot Clan instead of Flame. Now it looks like he's Star Clanner as well, which makes me worried about Soot Clan. That could possibly be two different Dark Forest orientated clans that we might end up clashing with. And here's little Twilight Paw. He's cowardly but has a gentle voice. I noticed that his parent is Crowstreak, which means he probably came along in with her. I wonder if he was born cowardly or if this just happened while he was at his other clan. He's also 11 moons old, which means he's about to become an adult. If he can't get over his fear, maybe I'll have to turn him into a mediator. Next, we're into the kits now, and this is Little Stag Kit, who was playing by the barrels. I was curious what was happening in the family tree here, so I had a look at it, and his only parent didn't even know he existed. But you can't put too much blame on him. He is a kitty pet. He lives with his humans, and he probably doesn't even really get out that much. So he probably just met a cat in the backyard, and that was that. I don't see any records of a mother, however, so for now, his mother is unknown. The clan took him in because no one else wanted him. He's such a polite little guy, too, and is always learning. Maybe he'll find his place here. Our next little kit, and the final member of the clan, is Cricket Kit, who is rebellious and interested in relationship drama. Maybe he'll also become a mediator, specifically a matchmaker. You never know, we'll see which route his life takes. This kit does have a parent, and it appears to be Moonlake. but he was born 1 moon ago, which means it happened right as she joined the clan, so he's not technically a flame clanner. We don't know who his dad is, and we probably will never know. Though my guess is his dad probably lives in Flame Clan. Now it's time to do some bits and pieces here, like check on the medicine cat's den, and yep, we definitely need herbs. We're gonna check the food stores too. 27 needed out of 100, we'll be fine on that for a while. I'm gonna set it to sick and injured, eat first. That seems the most reasonable to me. Shy Spots will now go to the warrior's den and ask them to assist with herb gathering. Doing this early on will be vital for our clan. If any cat gets sick or injured, we're gonna need medicine for it. Next, we're going to have a peek at what our leader is doing. Since they're so new here, he wants to make friends with the existing clans. As you can see, we already have 5 in one area. He's going to select Hoot Clan first and try to befriend them at the next gathering. Clan gatherings happen at the end of every month for all clans to get together, share news, and socialize. They don't always go that well, as sometimes there's tension in between the groups, but our main focus is going to be on Wild Clan. Next, Nimblestar is going to look at his borders. He can see Burn, who is a parent of one of our cats, but he doesn't even know that cat exists, and he's a kitty pet. So after poking through a bit, I decided Dove is probably the best one. She's also a kitty pet, but she also has some skills fishing, and we need someone who's going to be an adoptive mother. Now it's time to get into some of the events. We have to go on patrol. I like to go through and take note of all the cat's skills, even though I'm definitely going to forget them immediately afterwards. And I usually pick the medicine cat first. I decided to regularly set her up with Snowfall because she has the ability guarding, and we absolutely need to keep our medicine cat safe. So I'm going to send them out to go look for some herbs, and it appears like Snowfall is uncomfortable. Snowfall admits that she couldn't help but think of what legacy she might leave behind if she was to pass on. Shy Spots recognizes this as something between fear and depression, some existential worry the warrior is struggling with, and she adapts her tone to be more soothing. It's impossible to tell what life will bring, she offered, but to Wild Clan, you will be a legend worth remembering one day. You are the first of many, many cats to walk this clan's path. All you need to do is decide how your story will be told. As Shy Spots speaks, Snowfall brightens up, looking much happier, and they resumed their work, eventually returning with oak leaves and goldenrod for the medicine cat den. Next up, it's time for some apprentice training, so we select Twilight Paw and Splinter Tree and set them out. Splinter looks like he's got some good experience to pass on, likely some stuff he got from Soot Clan. He immediately wanted to teach the other cat about teamwork, and it seems to be working. Maybe Twilight Paw will learn a little bit of courage throughout all of this. Next up is the deputy, which I'm going to send her on a solo hunt. It does appear as though she found some prey, however, it looks like she ate most of it. I guess it's not that much of a surprise, as she originally was a rogue. She's more used to looking after herself than a whole clan of other cats, so why wouldn't she eat this? She's hungry, right? She gets treated with suspicion when she comes home, obviously not hungry anymore, but she's shameless, so she shrugs it off and goes about her duties. Now it's time to put the rest of the cats in one big final patrol. This land is new and scary, so they decide to go out in force. That way, in case they run across anything, they'll have the numbers to back it up. However, it was fairly uneventful. Crow Streak started telling a story as they walked along their newly established borders, the shadows of their neighbors' lands looking eerie and unsafe. Her story told of Flame Clan and of her ancestors, describing how their older clan had come down from the north to settle in the arid red rocks at the peak of the clanland territory. Well adapted to sand, stone, and burning heat, She showed off her heavily calloused and almost dog-like paws, as if to show their bloodline was better adapted to scorching heat. Moonlake makes a comment akin to, "Good. If there's a fire here, that means we can send you in to rescue the kits." And the nervous tension is released with a quiet little bit of laughter. Now, that's the end of Moon 0. We didn't have any events to go through, mostly because those do not show up on Moon 0. But when we go into Moon 1, there's definitely going to be a lot more happening. So if you're interested, please tap that like button and stay tuned, because I do intend on making this a series. And if you can, leave a comment for me and tell me which art style you liked more, the sketchy style or the cleaner doodle style. That'll help me decide on how to do these story sections in the next video. Thank you, and please have a good day.